Greetings, humanity! Today is Friday, February 20th, 2026. Let's grok the news. I'm Robert Gardner, using Grok each weekday to help me search out and to summarize the biggest headlines in the news today. You also get the unparalleled benefit of this observer's opinions. We review a roundup of the most critical stories in the world, from Tehran to London to Milan Cortina, Italy to Los Angeles to New Mexico to Gaza to Osaka and the rest of the world. But first, we do a deep dive into today's top story right after this. God with Us, the story of Jesus, is a full blending of all of the Gospels into one continuous narrative, a story that misses nothing from the Savior's life. Inspired by the majestic text of the King James Bible, God with Us is adapted to modern language and formatted for easy reading. A faithful paraphrase divided into brief stories fit for daily Bible studies. This book was fully researched to present the story of Jesus from his birth to his ascension. Find God with Us by yours truly, Robert Gardner, at Amazon.com or wherever books are sold. And now let's grok the most important news in the world today, starting with our lead story, Dateline Tehran and Washington, D.C. Tensions between the United States and Iran have reached a critical point as President Donald Trump issued a 10 to 15-day ultimatum for Tehran to reach a new agreement on its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. The deadline comes amid one of the largest U.S. military buildups in the Middle East since 2003, with additional air and naval assets repositioned to the region. Iran, expressing fears of imminent American strikes, conducted joint naval drills with Russia while rejecting what it called coercive demands. Congressional voices, including Representative Jake Auchincloss, has urged swift authorization for the use of military force to target Iranian facilities, describing the current window as ideal. This observer could not agree more. Oil prices surged on markets in anticipation of potential conflict. Trump administration officials described the posture as necessary pressure to prevent Iran from advancing its weapons capabilities, while critics warn the timeline risks escalation into a broader regional crisis. Iranian officials countered that any attack would trigger severe retaliation. The coming days will determine whether diplomacy or military action prevails in this high-stakes standoff. This observer only wonders why the headlines never seem to even mention the millions of Persians counting on America's promise to help them. And now we grok the headlines from around the globe. Dateline London in the UK, former Prince Andrew was arrested at Royal Lodge on suspicion of misconduct in public office linked to Jeffrey Epstein files, including allegations of sharing sensitive information. They're more upset about this than they are about all the hanky-panky. He was later released under investigation. The case has intensified scrutiny on the British royal family, with King Charles issuing a statement and experts warning of lasting damage to the monarchy's reputation amid renewed global calls for Epstein-related accountability. This observer joins those calls. Dateline Washington, D.C. President Trump directed the Pentagon and federal agencies to declassify and release all government records related to UFOs and aliens, describing the files as extremely interesting The order revives public fascination with extraterrestrial phenomena and follows years of partial disclosures, potentially ushering in a new era of transparency on one of America's most enduring mysteries. This follows former President Obama's vague statement that there were actually aliens. This observer does not take such statements seriously and only wonders why so many aliens were led into the country to take American jobs. This observer is joking, of course. Dateline Milan, Cortina, Italy. The United States dominated Day 14 of the Winter Olympics, capturing gold in women's figure skating with Elisa Liu and women's ice hockey in a dramatic overtime victory over Canada. Additional medals underscored Team USA's strong performance as the games continue. Well, this observer is glad to hear it, even though he has not been observing. Dateline Washington, D.C. Border Czar Tom Homan declared there will be more mass deportation operations under the Trump administration. In related news, a Pennsylvania high school principal swiftly ended a supposedly student-led anti-ICE walkout, highlighting early enforcement signals and domestic pushback on seditious immigration protest organizers. Those insurrectionists who try to use children as their cannon fodder should especially be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the laws. And that's a pretty full extent. Dateline, Los Angeles. Grey's Anatomy and Euphoria actor Eric Dane has died at 53 following a battle with ALS. Colleagues and fans paid tribute to the beloved performer, remembering his impactful roles and personal courage in facing the disease. Dateline, Washington, D.C. President Trump's newly formed Board of Peace held its inaugural meeting to outline Gaza reconstruction plans, including funding, troop commitments, and FIFA cooperation. Indonesia is set to assume a deputy commander role in the international force, which is supporting the effort. Dateline, Texas. Congressman Wesley Hunt released a pointed "Don't Vote Democrat" advertisement, sharply criticizing fellow Republican Senator John Cornyn's squishy record on gun control and amnesty, signaling intra-party tensions ahead of future Texas political battles. Somebody could get primaried. Dateline, Jakarta, Indonesia. The United States and Indonesia finalized a reciprocal trade agreement, lowering duties to 19% and securing free access for Indonesian palm oil. That's a bigger deal than you might think. It also sets limits on textiles and mining sectors. Dateline, New Mexico. Authorities in that state have reopened a criminal investigation into Jeffrey Epstein's Zorro Ranch property. Separately, Epstein's estate agreed to settle a class-action lawsuit for millions while denying any wrongdoing. Dateline, Gaza. Gaza's controlling Islamic terrorist political machine, Hamas, funded and directed by Iran, led an internal vote to select a new interim leader as the group navigates ongoing regional dynamics and leadership transitions. Dateline, Osaka, Japan. An anonymous donor has gifted gold bars worth $3.6 million to the city of Osaka to fund repairs to its aging water infrastructure, leaving officials stunned by the generous and mysterious act of philanthropy. Dateline, Austria. An Austrian climber was found guilty in the death of his girlfriend who froze during a mountain expedition, concluding a tragic and closely watched legal case. Dateline Thailand. The co-founder of fashion retailer ASOS died at age unknown after falling from a balcony in Thailand in what appears to have been an accident. Dateline across the globe. A new Chinese AI application, Seedance, is so good it has triggered alarm across Hollywood, with industry insiders expressing concern over its potential to disrupt content creation and intellectual property. From just a short text prompt, it can conjure cinema-quality video. Who needs Hollywood anymore? Dateline, another global Dateline. Nations worldwide are implementing increasingly extreme policies to combat the phenomenon now known as over-tourism. Everything from visitor caps and high fees to outright bans in sensitive locations. From Japan to Europe, tourist destinations are getting tired of tourists being more like tourists every tourist season. Well, I thank you for listening. Please join me Monday to once again grok the news. I'm Robert Gardner. Godspeed and God bless.